Let's talk about something that's been all over the headlines in Nepal lately: electric vehicle accidents. It's sparked a ton of debate and, honestly, a lot of concern. So today, we're going to break down exactly what's been happening and try to separate the social media noise from the on-the-ground reality. Okay, so let's dive right in. The big question on everyone's mind is pretty simple. Are these electric vehicles, the ones we're told are the future, actually a danger on our roads right now? It's a serious question, and you're not going to find the real answer in the headlines. You find it in the data. So to really get why everyone's so concerned, we have to start by looking at the incidents themselves. There's been this very noticeable string of pretty serious accidents that has, understandably, captured the entire nation's attention. If you look back, starting in late 2023, this really troubling pattern began to show up. We've seen just about everything, from fires happening while cars were charging to these devastating highway collisions with truly tragic outcomes, especially that terrible series of crashes in mid-2025. The single worst incident. It happened in Chitwan in June of 2025. 7. That's the number of people who lost their lives in just one collision between an EV and a bus. A number like that, it's not just a statistic, right? It sends a shockwave through the whole community, and it forces us to have a real, hard conversation about safety. Okay, so just listing off these tragedies is alarming for sure, but it doesn't really tell us the whole story. If we want to stop this from happening again, we've got to pull back the curtain and really dig into the root causes. So, what is really going on here? Is it the technology? Is it something about the drivers? Or maybe, is it the roads? Well, the initial findings suggest it's actually a mix of all of those things. Let's break it down. Time and time again, the initial reports point not at the car, but at the person behind the wheel. That instant, silent acceleration in an EV can be a real shock if you're used to a petrol car. And when you mix that unfamiliar power with a lack of lane discipline, well, that can be a deadly combination. But hey, it's not just about the driver. We absolutely have to talk about the roads themselves. Nepal's chronic underinvestment in road safety means we're dealing with narrow lanes, huge potholes, and just generally poor maintenance. These are dangerous conditions for any car, not just EVs. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. When we look at the fire incidents, the cause is a lot more complex. It's not as simple as just the car caught fire. Investigations are actually pointing to potential problems with the entire charging system, everything from the quality of the power supply and proper grounding at the station, all the way to the wiring inside the vehicle itself. And check this out, because this is a crucial distinction. When you break down the numbers, a really clear pattern emerges. Public transport EVs, like buses and taxis, have been in way more accidents with more casualties than privately owned ones. So you have to ask yourself, why would that be? It probably points to things beyond the car itself, like much higher mileage, the pressures of commercial driving, and maybe different standards for driver training. So this all leads us to the central question, the one that's all over social media. Are the cars themselves actually the problem here? The answer might be very different from what you think. This slide really gets to the heart of it. The social media noise is simple and it's scary. It says EVs are unsafe. But the reality, based on the actual analysis, is way more nuanced. The evidence keeps pointing back to the same three things: driving too fast, drivers not being used to the new tech, and just plain bad road conditions. In fact, EVs are far from being inherently unsafe. They actually go through incredibly strict safety testing before they're ever allowed to be sold. They even have cool features like regenerative braking. Basically, the moment you lift your foot off the accelerator, the motor starts slowing the car down. It can actually make braking more efficient and even help prevent an accident. So the crucial point here, the big takeaway, is that this isn't just an EV problem. It's a road safety problem, period. And fixing it is going to take a collective effort from pretty much everyone involved. So what's the path forward? Well, it really boils down to two clear, essential steps. First, drivers need better training and more discipline, especially when it comes to managing how different these EVs feel. And second, the government has to step up and make a serious financial commitment to making our roads safer for everybody. At the end of the day, if we really want to reduce these tragic accidents, we have to shift our focus. Instead of just blaming the new technology, we have to look at the entire system, from the driver in the seat to the road underneath the tires. The question isn't whether EVs are safe. The real question is, how do we make our entire transportation system safer for the electric future that is, well, already here?